Hello everyone, my name's Wilmo and welcome back to the channel in general. Let me tell you, setting this recording up was an ordeal. But we're set now and hopefully it'll go by a lot more smoothly now that I know how to set it up more quickly. Because the way I'm doing this is really weird. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about a interesting another PlayStation L recently, because that's all PlayStation has been doing lately. It's been kind of taking L's a little bit, except this morning they did something crazy. So I recorded this video the last video earlier this morning, and then now I'm recording this one. While editing that video, I heard my PlayStation turn on like it was fucking haunted. I turned around and was like, oh god. It does that all the time. They normally do that. It's fine. But point is it turned on its own, and it turns out, that was an update to add wallpapers. So let me just quickly recant what I said. It still shouldn't have taken 4 fucking years to get wallpapers. But, hey, it's better late than never, as they say, and, yeah, that's just the motto for PlayStation as far as customization on their consoles goes, I guess, even though, from my knowledge and from my understanding, the PlayStation 4 always had it, and the PlayStation... Oh, well, maybe there was I think there was actually a little bit of time in which the PS4 didn't have it, but nowhere near as long as the PS5, or at least it feels that way to me. But the PS Vita always did, and same for the PS3. I don't know why, even the PSP. So I don't know why they didn't have it for PlayStation 5. Just absolutely bizarre to me, but what do I know? Anyway, today we're talking about Concord, and everyone and their brother has made a video on this, but I wanted to make a video on it even though it's a little late now. But I just think it's kind of interesting. Concord probably doesn't really need much of an introduction. It is a massive L, not just for PlayStation, but for just gaming in general. One could maybe even say this is the modern day E.T. perhaps. Maybe not quite as bad. I don't think there's literal people... I don't think there's a landfill of these games. At least I don't think. But it still is super interesting nonetheless. Because PlayStation bought the studio that made Concord 8 years ago, called Firewalk Studios. And it was a studio that was comprised of people that had worked on games like Battlefield, Destiny, Call of Duty, various titles like that. And so the gameplay of Concord, from what I've been told, was pretty okay. I mean, it was just your standard kind of looter shooter. I never played it because that's really not my thing. And obviously, it's not really a lot of people's thing. So Concord's budget, or really the money that went into Concord to buy Firewalk to then make, the game, I think the budget was separate, but Firewalk was like 100 million, 200 million. It was either Firewalk that cost that much or Concord's budget. It was 100 million to 200 million. That's a lot of clams for Sony, I gotta say. That's a lot of smackery-doos, yeah, that whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm very sleep-deprived, to be honest, but, ain't nothing we can't get past. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? But, and all of that money went into it, and it only sold 25,000 copies, roughly. At the time, well, not at the time of recording, but at the time of me writing down these bullet points, because I don't really script these things, but I have things I like to mention, like, little bullet points, I guess, so I don't forget it. But it sold 25,000 copies at the time of writing that. Actually, you know what? Why not do a quick little search? How many copies did Concord sell? Is it gonna do it? No, it's not gonna do it. Okay, I'm too lazy to do it right now. But point is Point is that's not a lot. It's very low. I imagine you could probably now maybe put it at 2,600. Maybe. That might be a bit too generous, to be honest. It made less than $1 million, which I watched Moist Critical's video on it, and apparently that was not even enough to potentially cover a year cost for like electricity at an office if they were working there. So I'm really hoping that Concord taking a fat L like this will tell Sony and other big companies that, hey, maybe we don't want these like hero shooters and we want something better. You know what I mean? Like the designs of the characters were never all that much to ride home about. In fact, one of the characters, I think, if memory serves correct, one of the characters is like a bigger black dude, and in the comment section of the video that like unveils him, it said, "I'm a fat black dude and I don't want this representing me." I think that was one. But there's tons like that. There's tons of things like the big thing with their character creation was character diversity, which in its own right is following a set scale of stereotypes and shit like that anyway. But yeah, that was the big thing, is that like you could go back onto those videos and see people being like, yeah, I am this character, really don't want this representing me. And that's just hilarious. That's just so funny. I feel like we should tone it back just a little on the including everyone stuff on games, just because why is it for people to enjoy a game you have to feel represented in it, you know? I play all sorts of games and I don't really necessarily feel represented per se in any of them because I just don't really care, I guess. And granted, that's coming from, a white guy. So what do I know, right? Like that, my diversity is very minimal, to be honest. It's not on the best of things. Well, I am open and very diverse, if you will, just not me. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily think I have what it takes to be like, oh, I'm not necessarily represented very well in this game. Because, at the end of the day, I'm just a white guy, okay? Like, that's just all it is, Anyway, that word vomit aside, I was just worried I said something that unintentionally wrong that I didn't mean to say. You know how the internet can be, You say one thing and then it's just... or even if it is a mistake, which is just, I don't know, I'm always worried about that coming from the internet. But aside from that crazy shit and my just word vomit, if you will, Sony shut down Concord recently. I believe it shut down September 6th. It's been shut down for a little bit now. They shut it down within 2 weeks. To give you an idea, flies live longer than Concord did, which is insane. And it's just so funny because why? What were they thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what were they thinking? What really sucks is that this game is gone, and I think it is getting deleted off of people's accounts and stuff like that. It kind of sucks because that's just a piece of gaming history that's gone now. Even if it is a massive flop, it's still a massive flop, like, historically massive flop. So, I still feel like it should be preserved in some way, but, what can you do? I'm sure there's some people who may have bought it on Steam who kept it, who may have backed up files or something. Like, I'm sure it's not like completely gone, or at least I'd like to think so. I'm sure there's still like, did this game ever get physical copies? I'm sure there is like some physical copies out there if it did. After all, this game was $40 on launch in compared to its peers, if you will, like Overwatch, Overwatch 2, I guess, TF2. These kind of hero shooter things aren't really my speed. I just think it's just so interesting how something that had this much of a backing can be dead within 2 weeks. Just like basically a snap, if you will. It's insane. It's, like I said, lack of better words, insane. At its most, by the way, at its peak player count, it had less than 1K players. And if memory serves correct, I think it does span across Steam and PlayStation, which is insane. Now, don't quote me on that. Could be wrong on that one. I know for a fact on Steam, it was like 660 at its highest, which is crazy. I'm pretty sure if you were to look at it now, it'd be dead, like it's gone now, but I saw towards the end it was getting like 34 people playing at most, so that was pretty interesting. So yeah, and I've heard that Sony Japan like shut down because of like, or not Sony Japan, but like I heard like some studios were like closed down. Take it with a grain of salt, because let's look that up right quick. Let's see. Did Sony close any studios due to Concord's failure? Peak content, I know, guys. Peak content. Okay, never mind. I take that back. A quick little search told me wrong. At least according to Google AI here. It does seem like, it's apparently it is still sitting at 25K units, so yeah, so no, it did not. No studios got shut down, but I'm sure there were some layoffs probably. There's who knows? It's still a fairly fresh wound for PlayStation, so maybe we'll see in the forthcoming weeks or months what travesties they'll cause because of it. I don't know. I know I sound like a Sony hater, but believe it or not, I actually love PlayStation. I'm just not happy with what they've been doing recently. It's just been these past little bit. This PS5 generation has just been not the best in the world. But hey, what can you do? Am I right? What can you do? Anyway, that is about it for this video. I just thought it was super interesting, Concord's complete failure, and the fact that we got wallpapers immediately after I finally say it in video that wasn't like a gameplay video or something, that it was just terrible. It's just terrible, but the PlayStation 5 not having wallpapers is just terrible. Yeah, it's depressing, but hey, we finally got it now, so I guess we got the good end after 4 years. So yeah, anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share with your pals, help people discover Wilma today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.